This moment is quiet for a reason. The noise of the day has faded, the demands have slowed, and now something inside you has space to listen. You did not plan for this pause. You did not decide that this would be the time your heart would feel heavier or more aware. It simply happened. Your breathing softened, your thoughts slowed, and a part of you leaned forward, searching for something deeper than words. This is often how guidance begins, not with a loud sign, not with a dramatic change, but with a small inner shift that makes you notice what you usually ignore. There is a truth many people only understand after years of confusion and quiet pain. Not every person who stands close to you was sent to walk with you. Some people are placed in your life to comfort you, to remind you of Allah, to help you stand when you feel weak. But others are placed near you to reveal something about yourself, to show you what you hold on to when no one is watching, to test whether your heart leans more toward approval from people or closeness to your Creator. This does not always come in obvious ways. It rarely comes through open harm or clear hostility. Most of the time, it comes through small moments, a comment that makes you doubt what you believe, a laugh that makes something serious feel light, a presence that leaves you feeling unsettled instead of peaceful. You may have noticed it already. After certain conversations, your chest feels tight instead of calm. After certain gatherings, your mind feels restless instead of clear. You walk away and cannot explain why you feel heavier, only that you do. This is not random. Allah created the heart with a kind of awareness that exists deeper than logic. The heart recognizes what brings it closer to Him and what slowly pulls it away, even when the mind tries to justify, excuse, or ignore the feeling. That quiet discomfort is not weakness, it is guidance. Think about the people who leave you feeling more aware of Allah. You may pray more after being around them. You may speak more carefully. You may feel a gentle reminder inside you to be better, kinder, more patient, more sincere. Then think about the people who leave you feeling distant. You may delay your prayer. You may feel less concerned about your words. You may feel more focused on fitting in than standing firm. Both types of people can stand just as close to you physically, but they stand very differently to your soul. This is why awareness matters. Protection does not always come in the form of a wall that blocks harm. Sometimes it comes as a light that helps you see what is shaping you from the inside. You are not asked to judge. You are not asked to cut everyone away. You are asked to be awake. Notice who reminds you of Allah without needing to say His name. Notice who makes you forget Him without telling you to. Your heart was not created to be careless. It was created to be guided. And when you start paying attention to what it feels, you begin to understand that closeness is not about who stands next to you. It is about who helps you stand closer to Allah. The whisper that makes disobedience feel safe. There is a kind of influence that never raises its voice. It does not argue. It does not command. It does not force. It simply settles into your thoughts and speaks softly, almost kindly. It sounds reasonable. It sounds gentle. It sounds like comfort. It's not that serious. Everyone does this. Allah is forgiving. Don't be so hard on yourself. At first, these words feel like relief. They take the weight off your chest. They make you feel less tense, less strict, less burdened. But over time, they do something else. They begin to change how your heart reacts to right and wrong. What once made you pause now barely slows you down. What once made you feel careful now feels normal. This is how distance from Allah often begins, not with a clear decision to disobey, but with a slow softening of the heart. The heart does not fall suddenly, it drifts quietly. Think about how a path disappears in the desert, not because someone erases it in one moment, but because small winds pass over it again and again until the line becomes faint. The same thing happens to the boundaries inside you. Small words, small jokes, small excuses. Repeated often enough, they blur what used to feel clear. Pay attention to the environment around you. Listen to the way people talk about sin. Listen to the way they talk about prayer. Listen to the way they talk about obedience to Allah. Do they speak with care, or do they speak with casualness? A reminder that comes from sincerity wakes the heart. A whisper that comes from comfort puts it to sleep. There is a big difference between mercy and permission. Allah is merciful, but He is also wise. His mercy is not an invitation to become careless. It is an invitation to return when you fall. When someone around you uses Allah's forgiveness as a reason to stop trying, that is not guidance. That is distraction. You may notice how this influence works in daily life. You delay a prayer, and no one says anything. You skip a moment of remembrance, and no one notices. You say something you should not have said, and everyone laughs. Slowly, your heart learns that nothing happens when you let go a little, and so you let go a little more. This is why awareness matters. True reminders may feel uncomfortable sometimes. They may make you pause. They may make you reflect. They may even make you feel a little exposed. But they leave your heart clearer, not cloudier. Dangerous whispers do the opposite. They make everything feel lighter in the moment, but heavier in the long run. Ask yourself this in honesty. After being around this person, do you feel more careful with your actions or less? Do you feel more aware of Allah or more relaxed about forgetting Him? Your heart is always learning, even when you are not paying attention. It is learning what to take seriously and what to treat lightly. Guard what it learns, because what you allow to feel small today can become what controls you tomorrow. And the safest heart is not the one that never slips. It is the one that never stops caring. The smile that hides resentment for your rise. There comes a moment in a person's life when something inside them begins to shift. It does not always show on the outside. You may still walk the same streets. You may still speak to the same people. You may still live the same routine. But inside, your heart starts carrying a different weight. You begin to care more about what pleases Allah than what pleases the crowd. You begin to notice your words before you speak them. You begin to feel a quiet pull toward being better, even when no one is watching. This kind of change is powerful, and not everyone knows how to stand next to it. Some people were comfortable with the old version of you, the version that laughed at everything, the version that did not question much, the version that did not stand too firmly in faith or purpose. That version felt familiar, predictable, easy to understand. When you begin to grow, you step out of that space. And for some, that feels like loss. You may not see anger. You may not hear complaints. What you often see instead is something softer and harder to recognize. Support becomes quieter. Excitement for your progress becomes small. Encouragement turns into subtle comments. You're taking this too seriously. You've changed a lot. You used to be more fun. These words can sound harmless, but inside them is a deeper message. You are no longer fitting into the place they were comfortable keeping you. Growth creates distance, even when no one moves physically. It reveals who was walking with you towards something and who was simply standing beside you while you stayed the same. This does not always mean someone is evil or cruel. Sometimes it simply means they are not ready to grow in the same direction. Your rise reminds them of a place inside themselves they have not visited yet, and that can be uncomfortable. Be careful not to shrink yourself to protect someone else's comfort. Do not slow your steps toward Allah because someone else prefers the old version of you. Your journey was not designed to make everyone around you feel safe. It was designed to bring your heart closer to the one who created it. Let your growth be gentle, because the path toward Allah will always reveal who is walking with you in sincerity and who is only walking with you in familiarity. The heart that drinks from your wounds. There is a part of you that knows how heavy it feels to carry something alone. A fear you have not spoken, a pain you do not know how to explain, a moment in your past that still echoes quietly in your chest. When you finally decide to share it with someone, you are not just giving them words, you are giving them a piece of your heart. And not every hand knows how to hold something fragile. Some people listen because they care. They listen to understand. They listen to protect. They listen because they want your burden to feel lighter when you leave the conversation. But others listen for a different reason. They listen to collect. They store your story. They remember your weakness. They keep your struggles in their memory, not to help you heal, but to repeat them later in a different room, to a different audience. You may not know it has happened until you feel it. A look from someone who should not know. A comment that sounds too familiar. A moment where your private pain no longer feels private. This is why Islam places such high value on protecting dignity. Covering someone's struggle is an act of worship. Guarding someone's weakness is a form of mercy. Allah loves the one who shields the faults of others, just as they would want their own faults shielded. Your heart is not a public place. Not every person who asks how you are deserves the full story of what you are carrying. Some people deserve kindness, some deserve respect, but only a few deserve access. Pay attention to how someone treats the stories of others. Do they speak with care, or do they speak with excitement? Do they protect, or do they expose? Because the way they handle someone else's pain is the way they will eventually handle yours. It is not a lack of trust to be careful, it is wisdom. You can be open without being unguarded. You can be kind without being unprotected. And when you choose who to share your heart with, choose those who leave you feeling lighter, not more exposed. Those who make you feel held, not examined. Your wounds were not created to be displayed. They were created to be healed. And healing grows best in the presence of mercy, not curiosity. The presence that quietly severs you from Allah. This kind of influence is the hardest to notice because it never announces itself. No one tells you to stop praying. No one tells you to forget Allah. No one openly invites you to walk away from your faith. And yet, slowly, something changes. You begin to rush what you once took time with. You begin to delay what you once hurried toward. You begin to feel less when you once felt full. Your prayer becomes shorter, not because you are busy, but because your heart no longer leans into it the same way. Your remembrance becomes quieter, not because you forgot how, but because something else has taken up the space where Allah used to sit in your thoughts. This is how distance often forms, not through rebellion. Through replacement. The heart can only hold so much attention. When something else begins to fill it, something sacred quietly moves to the side. Look at how this happens in everyday moments. You sit with certain people, and time disappears. Hours pass, conversations flow, laughter fills the room. But when you leave, you realize you did not remember Allah even once during that entire stretch of time. Your heart was present in the room, but absent in awareness. Then there are people who do not need to say anything at all. Being around them makes you more careful with your words, more aware of your actions, more mindful of your purpose, not because they lecture you, but because their presence reminds you of something higher. Both types of people can be kind, both can be friendly, both can feel good to be around, but only one leaves your heart closer to its source. This is why the company you keep matters more than most people realize. Your heart reflects its environment, just like water reflects the sky above it. If what surrounds you is noisy, distracted, and careless, your heart begins to take on the same shape. If what surrounds you is calm, mindful, and sincere, your heart slowly learns that rhythm too. Ask yourself, without defending anyone and without defending yourself, after being around this person, do you feel more aware of Allah or less? Do you feel more grounded or more scattered? Do you feel lighter in your soul or heavier in your mind? These questions are not meant to create suspicion. They are meant to create awareness. Because Allah does not always protect you by removing people from your life. Sometimes He protects you by teaching your heart to notice what is shaping it. The goal is not to judge others. The goal is to guard your connection. Your relationship with Allah is the center of your life. Everything else orbits around it. When something begins to pull you away from that center, even gently, even quietly, it is worth paying attention. Closeness to Allah does not grow in noise. It grows in awareness. And awareness begins with noticing who you become when you are not alone. The tongue that plants seeds of division between hearts. There is a kind of person who always seems to carry information. They know what everyone said. They know what everyone thinks. They know what happened in rooms you were not in. At first, this can feel like connection. You feel included. You feel trusted. You feel like someone is letting you in on something important. But slowly, something else begins to grow. Suspicion, doubt, distance. You start looking at people differently. You start hearing voices in your head that are not there. You start wondering who is saying what about you when you are not present. This is how division enters a heart. Not through direct conflict, through planted thoughts. Sometimes what is being shared is true, sometimes it is not. But even when it is true, the question remains, why was this brought to you? Islam teaches the value of covering, not exposing, healing, not spreading, bringing hearts together, not pulling them into separate corners filled with assumptions. A person who loves peace looks for ways to soften situations. They look for ways to calm misunderstandings. They look for ways to protect relationships even when they are imperfect. A person who thrives on division often does the opposite. They move words from one heart to another without carrying mercy with them. They repeat comments without carrying context. They deliver information without carrying intention. And slowly, trust begins to weaken. You may notice how this feels inside you. A name is mentioned, and your chest tightens. A face appears, and your mind replays something you were told. A relationship that once felt simple now feels complicated. This is the result of seeds being planted. Ask yourself this: when someone brings you news about others, does it bring peace to the situation Or does it add weight? Does it heal? Or does it stir? Because words have power long after they are spoken. They can build bridges that last for years, and they can create cracks that take just as long to repair. Allah loves the one who protects the honor of others, even when they could speak. He loves the one who holds back a harmful word, even when it feels interesting to share. Be careful with what you carry and what you pass on. Not every piece of information needs a new home, and not every message you receive needs to be delivered. Sometimes the most faithful act is silence, the one who makes light of what your soul holds sacred. There is a quiet kind of pressure that does not come with force. It comes with laughter. It comes wrapped in smiles, in jokes, in casual words that sound harmless on the surface. Relax. You think too much. You're too serious about this. And slowly, something inside you begins to shrink. You may laugh along. You may brush it off. You may tell yourself it is not a big deal. But inside, a small part of your heart feels exposed, as if something private was touched in public. Faith is not just a habit. It is not just a routine. It is something your soul leans on when the world feels heavy. It is where you go when no one else can carry what you are carrying. So when someone treats that lightly, it is not just your actions they are commenting on. It is the place your heart goes for safety. You may notice how this shows up in small ways. You hesitate before mentioning that you prayed. You avoid speaking about something meaningful to you. You keep your connection to Allah quiet, not out of humility, but out of fear of being made to feel uncomfortable. Over time, this creates a split inside you. The part of you that believes, and the part of you that hides. Islam does not teach you to be loud or to show off your faith, but it also does not teach you to be ashamed of it. There is a difference between humility and shrinking. Humility is standing gently. Shrinking is standing smaller than you were meant to be. Pay attention to who makes you feel safe to be sincere, safe to speak carefully, safe to care deeply. And pay attention to who makes you feel like you need to cover the most meaningful part of yourself just to keep the atmosphere comfortable. The heart grows in environments where it is respected, not entertained. You were not created to carry something sacred and treat it like a joke. You were created to carry it with care, even when the world does not understand its weight. And sometimes, the strongest form of faith is not what you say. It is what you refuse to laugh at. The wisdom of distance when Allah withdraws access. There is a moment in life that feels like loss, but is actually something else. A connection fades. A conversation becomes less frequent. A person who once stood close now feels far away. And you may ask yourself what you did wrong. But not every distance is a mistake. Sometimes it is a form of mercy. Islam does not teach you to cut people away harshly. It does not teach you to hold anger or bitterness in your heart, but it does teach you to protect what Allah placed inside you. Your heart is not a place where everyone is meant to live. Some people are meant to visit. Some are meant to stay for a season. And some are meant to walk beside you for a long time. But very few are meant to have full access. You may notice that when certain people step back from your life, something else steps in. More quiet, more space, more time to think, more room to breathe, more awareness of Allah. This is not always coincidence. Sometimes Allah removes noise so you can hear guidance. He creates space so your heart can settle. He shifts relationships so your attention can return to where it was slowly drifting away from. Distance does not always mean rejection. Sometimes it means protection. You can still be kind, you can still be respectful, you can still make dua for someone, but you do not have to give them the same closeness they once had. Boundaries are not walls made of anger, they are doors guided by wisdom. There is a peace that comes when you stop forcing connections that no longer feel aligned with the person you are becoming. You begin to trust that Allah sees what you cannot see. He knows what your heart cannot explain. He understands the future you cannot imagine. And when He creates distance, He is not always taking something away. Sometimes He is making room. Room for clarity. Room for strength. Room for a version of you that stands closer to Him than ever before. You are not alone in that space. You are being guided in it. And if you sit with it long enough, you may realize that what felt like emptiness was actually the quiet presence of Allah, reminding you that you were never meant to walk this path without Him.